Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I want to show you my take on the 3.5 Righteous Fire Live Juggernaut. So as you know, I usually play, or at least this character was played as a Tectonic Slam. This is the same character from the previous video. And I was like, before I ditch the Juggernaut and play up something new, I want to see if Righteous Fire is still that good as it used to be. So in 3.1, I think I played a low-life Righteous Fire Guardian, which was a hell of fun and also pretty strong. And I think in 3.2, I played the life-based version, which was also very good. So in 3.3 and 3.4, I haven't touched any Righteous Fire. So yeah, I was like, okay, we had some changes. So let's just, before we ditch this character, let's equip it and let's see how well Righteous Fire still performs, right? So, in the showcase, I want to run at least one map. Wait a second, let me put this one in here. I prepared the Uber Elder yesterday, right? So I just started Path of Exile, so here we are. We have one Uber Guardian and then we have Uber Elder left. So basically, we're gonna run this Pit of the Chimera map. We're gonna kill the Guardian, or at least the Uber Guardian. So you see the kind of map showcase, and also then we're gonna try to kill Uber Elder. This is the task for now. And as you will see, you're stupidly tanky. Like, this is something Righteous Fire, at least as a life-based and also energy shield-based, is known for. Insanely tanky. So at the moment I run 8.3k life, which is actually, as a Righteous Fire guy, not that much, right? Usually I have like 9 to 10k life, but I was crafting all my gear yesterday, and yeah, I have like self-crafted stuff and also life. God damn it, I lose my spirit in talking. So I have self-crafted life on every piece. This is actually bad because self-crafted ends on I think like 70 over here, 70 over here. Here we have 55. So you can get a lot more life if you spend some more time into it. But I spend like, I don't know, like 4 hours into crafting everything. And yeah, here we are, basically. So that's why I have a little bit lower life at the moment. And we had to do some changes on the skill tree, because usually you would craft... Oh, is this Abaxoff's dude? I don't know. No, it's not. So basically, what I wanted to say is, usually you have a self-crafted scepter, if you have the currency for it. And you had this level 1 blood magic attached to your crafted weapon. Which made you, yeah, cast endlessly your Scorching Ray, right? But we don't have this in 3.5, so I had to change the skill tree a little bit. God, I need to run this later on. Oh no, there is Abyss, there is Navali, there is everything. I hope you have time enough to enjoy this, yeah, gameplay. So, I'm just standing here doing nothing. I just want to show you how my live region looks like. It's like on 3k if I activate the life flask, at least the Sulfur Flask, we get to like 3.6k life regenerated per second. So it's like playing permanently with a life flask, right? The only problem, the only downside with this build is you don't have that insane damage, right? So you have actually two different versions that is played on Righteous Fire. This is either the life-based, I would say cheaper version, and the higher or the more expensive version, which is the low-life Guardian. The difference is basically the low-life Guardian has a 6-linked chevrons, where you can put in a 6-linked Scorching Ray for insane damage, right? On the life version, you play with Chaos Heart, so that means you miss a complete 6-link. So that's why your Scorching Ray is more or less, yes, it does a little bit of damage, but I think my Righteous Fire damage is higher than Scorching Ray. So that means Scorching Ray is basically to debuff the enemy more or less and add a little bit more DPS. While a low life Righteous Fire Guardian has way more damage in terms of Scorching Ray. So, yeah, let's kill this Guardian real quick, and then we're gonna see how the Uber Elder fight with a build like that looks like. Quick sip of coffee. While Elder is doing something, his usual thing. So basically, we play with the Elemental Equilibrium. That means when we touch something with, for example, lightning damage, right? the enemies get 25 lightning resistance, but lose minus 50 cold and fire. So that's why we use Stormbrand to trigger this effect, because our both Scorching Ray and Righteous Fire don't hit, right? It's like just a burning ground, right? So yeah, this is the sense of it. So that's why we use Stormbrand to trigger this effect, so that the enemy has actually 50% less fire resistance, so we do a lot more damage. So yeah, start fights, we usually just go with our Enduring Cry, and after that, as soon as we have our Frenzy charges, or at least our Endurance charges, we have 9 of those. You're super stupid tanky. As you see, that's a tier 16 by the way, right? So all you gotta do is stand there and wait. Yes, Scorching Ray does a little bit of damage, but not that much actually. And yeah, if we add our flasks like the Witchfire Brew, which gives us more damage. As you see, the damage is not the best, obviously not. But the tankiness is just stupid. I mean, I just love it, I don't know. You can just brain deadly play all these encounters. And if you want to be a little bit more active, yeah, then use your Stormbrand and use Scorching Ray to make it a little bit faster. And yeah, that's about it. So insanely stupid tanky with this kind of life regeneration and also the life base. So, without more talking, at least I'm talking all the time, I know. But it's a video, what do you expect? We're just gonna skip Alva, rip Alva, and yeah, let's just turn our face into the Uber Elder encounter. I just hope that I don't die. That would be actually a little bit embarrassing, because yesterday I did it 2 times deathless. It was the first 2 times I tried with the character. It was like, I was just playing or crafting 5 hours, and then like, okay, let's put this gear on, this gear, and then everything was done, and I was like, okay, let's test this on Uber Elder. And this was the first thing I did, and after that I did it as well. So you're gonna see how you're gonna do that. So actually you wanna use Soul of Ugel for less cold damage taking. As always, I forget about switching those, so we're just gonna play without it. So yeah, all we do, Righteous Fire on, Stormbrands. First thing, Enduring Cry to get instantly some endurance charges. We have 9 at the moment, so yeah, that's about it. As I said, it's not the best DPS, but it's like super chill gameplay. I don't know. As you see, yes, I get some damage. Okay, phase transition. Let's go over here. You just sidestep the balls, more or less. It's always like 2 crafts. You see, the beam is not doing a lot of damage here. I mean, it's... This build, you know, it is so tanky that you can almost fail in everything and, yeah, just walk around a little bit. So as I said, Scorching Ray is to debuff the enemy. Our main damage comes from the Righteous Fire itself. So if you're not constantly shooting your Scorching Ray, yeah, not that big of a deal, right? But usually you can actually tank, I think, like 2. I don't even know if you can tank 3 balls. We could test that later on. I just don't want to mess this one up. But maybe we can do it in the last term. And yeah, basically you just charge around, your Righteous Fire will kill off mostly everything. And usually on those kind of characters, you know, you need to be careful a little bit more. You can actually tank those Shaper Slams and I don't know what. As you see, another beam here. Okay, let's move to the other side. I'm not even dropping below 50% life, so all easy. Actually, why am I touching the Uber Elder if I actually should get my attention to the Shaper? Okay, Shaper Slam. Okay, he missed. That was not intentional. I actually wanted to get hit, to be honest. But as you see, it's just super tanky. Let's kill off this beast here. Okay, now we have the phase transition. I don't know why I was attacking Uber Elder all the time before. I was like maybe a little bit distracted. But as you see, it's like, okay, 1 ball hit actually the half of my HP. So I can pretty much tank maybe 2 balls. That could work. But yeah, it's just like sidestepping. Okay, Shaper Balls, sidestep. It's like stupid, to be honest. Obviously, it's not going to be like one of those 2-minute super speed Uber Elder runs, but as you see, it's really not hard. And if you want to learn the encounter because you're not that familiar with the encounter, this is a character where you can actually test your limits, right? It's like not that something does a lot of damage. You just need to be pay a little bit attention to these mobs that are spawning. They leave a desecrated ground. So that means that you have a lot less, you degen a lot more while standing on these grounds. So this is something you want to avoid, but it's not like too hard. Okay, Shaper Slam Mr. Gan. It's not even intentional, I'm sorry. I actually wanted to hit me, but he just doesn't. Okay, another. Let's go into inside here. Hey, where is my beam not shooting there? Oh, here, not a Shaper Slam. Okay, it actually hit half of my HP. So, let's activate my flask again. Let's stand here a little bit. Okay, next. So, let's draw our attention back to the Uber Elder. We have the ascendancy that we are actually not gonna get slowed below base movement speed. So that is actually pretty fine. You just want to pay attention a little bit to the Shaper Ball. So as you see them moving, you're just gonna sidestep and that's about it. And then you can get your attention back to whatever you focused on. But it's actually not really too hard at all. Well, let's kill this one off. Get into here. Actually, you don't want to. You actually want to kill those mobs off as fast as possible because they leave this stupid ground that is actually, yeah, damaging you quite a lot. Oh no, the Elder Slam! Hey, my mouse was off screen. That was unfair. Okay, we are in the next phase, so actually let's kill this one off real quick. And yeah, let's just chill charge around, clear it a little bit off. Actually, I like the MTX, this Shaper Beam dude. I'm the new Shaper now. Gaze into the abyss. Actually, I should call that every time, like gaze into the abyss. Zzzt. Gaze into the abyss. Zzzt. Embraced by misery. Zzzt. I don't know. Either you like those guys that are like super damage and have like fast Uber Elder kills, or you do it the complete safe way like this one. And yeah, I have actually Cowling Strike attached to my Stormbrand. So actually, we should be able to cull actually the Shaper. Okay, this is a little bit awkward situation. He's like, we have everything here. We have the desecrated ground. Where is actually Shaper? Is he dead? I think he's dead. Okay, then let's go Uber Elder. I'm still standing in all the shit. But it's I don't have more words for it than it's like super tanky and retarded easy. All those beasts are shooting at me like, okay, here it is, Uber Elder down. Hell yes. Okay, now give me, for my super hard effort, give me a Watcher's Eye Jewel. How about that? Yeah, thank you. An Astral Plate? A Crusader Blade. I know exactly that this ring needs a Val Orb. Leave me, so I can explain more of it. Okay, let's quickly check this ring here. 65.9. Holy shit, this is bad. It's still bad. I don't know. Okay, I would say let's just throw everything in any of these tabs here so we have place to explain. Check. So, how does everything work together? The usual thing. Let's start with the gear. And on this part, I want to say actually... there is a couple of, I would say, mandatory uniques, and there is a couple of just self-crafted uniques, and I will give you some more explanation about that and what you can change in that. So I would say the Chaos Heart, the Chaos Way Rings, and the Saphos Frame, these are actually the only uniques we are wearing at the moment. And I would say these are kinda build enabling. So Chaos Heart, a lot of life. So you need to know how Righteous Fire works. Righteous Fire does more damage the more life you have, right? So that's why you want to stack life at the maximum. And Chaos Heart is the undisputed life armor in this game. Sorry, it has no sockets, but still 500 flat life and increased fire damage. Nothing else to say. So here we have two Chaos Ways. They are actually super cheap at this league. Holy shit, I was like... Usually they go for like 2 or 3 exalts. And in this league, they're like 40 chaos, 50 chaos. I mean, it's like insane. So what they do is you have a percentage of maximum life regenerated per second per endurance charge. That means this 0.4, this 0.4 makes 0.8, and with this point here, we have another 0.2. So each endurance charge gives us 1% more life regen. So that's why I have in town about... Okay, wait, actually, we should equip that and get Vitality on and Purity of Fire. So we have like 1.7k life rec per second. So if we're in fight or have this flask here with the consecrated ground, so we get another 2.2k here. And yeah, with your endurance charges, you have another like 9 or 10%, depend on how many endurance charges you have. So I would say those 4 items should be mandatory. A Cephal's frame is not expensive either. They go for 1 chaos. Holy shit, so expensive. You can actually take the Rise of the Phoenix because it gives 1 more max life. But at the moment, I have like 85, 79, 79 resistance, so we're actually fine. It's almost like wearing a low with just a little bit better because of the fire resistance. So, another point, like, how does Righteous Fire work? You're burning, right? So if we deactivate my Purity of Fire and the Vitality, you see I have 41 fire resistance, so this is what happens. You're burning all the time, same as the enemies. But once you hit, like, no life anymore, you will stop doing that. So it stops at exactly 1 life. So how we can actually make this work? We need fire resistance, because we burn exactly like the enemies do. So the more fire resistance we have, the less damage we get. So there is 2 ways to actually make this happen. Either your life regeneration is higher than your degen, or the easier way, you just get a lot of fire resistance and get like a small amount, so your life regen doesn't have to be that big. But we are still doing both. So, in that case, we are activating our Purity of Fire, and we have like 85 resistance. That means the Righteous Fire damage we get is reduced by 85%. So now, all of a sudden, I don't even get damage anymore. Because my life regen here, the 1.5k, is higher than the degen I have. Okay, small explanation about that. Just to see how it works. So that's why you want to have your fire resistance as high as possible. 75 is usual, right? Then we have with Barbarism, we get 1 max, makes it 76. Then we have the Cephal's frame, which gives us 4 max resistance. That's why my other 2 are on 79. And that would be fire resistance at 80. And we have here an level 20, I think, Purity of Fire with an Empower level. So you can either get the Empower level 3 with a level 21 Purity of Fire, because you want to hit the level 23 Purity of Fire in total. So you get 1 max fire resistance, and that's why we're on 85. Check. So, what about the other gear? I will just go over the gear, and as I said, yesterday I had all white bases, and I just want to briefly explain how I did that. So, on this helmet, it's an Elder base, you get burning damage and conk effect, so perfect for our Righteous Fire. So here we have actually 2 different setups that we can choose of. I think I have those here, yeah. So, in one hand, we can take the usual setup that we have here with Righteous Fire, then we have the Efficiency and the Elemental Focus, with increased area of effect, because without area of effect, I just think for my personal, playstyle, this circle is way too small. So if we get increased area of effect, it's a little bit bigger, right? What you actually can do to have even more damage, you skip the increased area of effect and get in Arcane Surge and Swift Affliction. So why Arcane Surge? Arcane Surge is basically just a placeholder because Arcane Surge has a duration. Without Arcane Surge in our link, the Swift Affliction will not work, because Swift Affliction only applies on skills that has a duration. But it works in that way if we have both activated in the helmet with Righteous Fire and Efficiency support. So I just prefer this one because it has a little bit more clear range. And I don't mind if the boss encounter takes a little bit longer than usual. Okay, for the helm again, I chaos spammed this one to hit burning and conk effect. You can also, I think, let me check, that's prefix and suffix. So you can actually just go here and spam your alterations away and try to hit conk and burning damage. But in my case, I was like, yeah, screw that. I'm just going to chaos spam this. Better would be if you have the Essence of Horror, but they are going for, I think, 35 to 40 chaos each. And this will give you the mod more 30% more elemental damage. If you hit that mod with burning and concentrated effect, well, you earned yourself quite some money, I guess, because this is super rare but super expensive if you want to buy that. So this is like the pre-stage. There is another thing that we can boost our damage, and this is the Righteous Fire deals 40% increased damage. This helm enchant on a base like this, 40x, 50x or something, it's like insane. That's why I play without the enchant. So basically, I play the cheapest version of it. Burning, conk, that's it. Next thing, elemental, the 30% increase the horror craft, and then you want to have the helmet chance. So you can basically like, yeah, maybe double or even triple my Righteous Fire DPS, but it's still fine for me. I just did Uberella, you saw it, it's not a big deal, so if you want to spend that one more mirror or something for your helm, then yeah, feel free to do so and make the Uberella encounter shorter. Check, let's go for the weapon. The weapon is a self-crafted weapon. I was spamming alterations until I hit the elemental focus. Because elemental focus, you get elemental damage. You know, this elemental focus and damage counts together, same as the melee splash and the area damage. So, why melee splash? Melee splash was actually my regal. That was super lucky because actually we're not talking about the melee splash, we're talking on the second stat, which is increased area damage. And that also counts for our damage. The rest is just multi-craft with socketed level of support gems, increased damage per endurance charge, and also, what's the next thing? Yeah, increased damage over time, sorry. So, this one was a couple of exalts. Because the base is, I think, 2 exalts, then the multimod is 2 exalts, plus the crafts, it's like 6, 7, 8 exalts. What you can do instead is take the Balefire. Balefire is a unique scepter that gives you a free level 25 Scorching Ray. And that's it. More you don't really need. You can take in some support gems, like, I don't know, like, what do we have here? Efficiency, burning damage, and probably elemental focus or something to have more damage on the Scorching Ray. But this scepter is 1 chaos. And it would just work fine, you know. But if you want to min-max, you want to get one of those scepters and, yeah, craft it like that. Okay, shield we talked. Amulet. This is chaos spammed. What I wanted to get is actually, yeah, just defense stats, like life, resistance, the usual stuff. I took the marble amulet because the implicit is life regen. So that's very good. If you can afford it... And yeah, the base is about, I think, 20 exalts for an Elder Marble Amulet. They are like super rare, so I don't really pay attention to that one. I was just chaos spamming them away. So, there is one good thing about this. Yes, it has fire damage and so on, but the lightning damage to attacks is something very nice to have. Because, as I was explaining before, the elemental equilibrium. So we hit with lightning damage, the monster gets more lightning resistance, but loses fire and cold resistance. So that works on our Stormbrand, but now it also works on our shield charge, because our shield charge does now a small proportion of lightning damage. That's enough to trigger elemental equilibrium if we hit it with a shield charge, right? So this is quality of life, I would say. Yeah, mana, life, pretty easy. On the gloves, I have Insanity crafted gloves, so I was just buying these Essence of Insanity. I think they go for like 10 chaos, maybe 11. 9 chaos, 10 chaos, yeah, so pretty cheap at the moment. So this will actually give us socketed gems have 16% more attack and cast speed. That means that our shield charge will be a lot faster, since we are not really stacking any kind of attack speed or something like that. So we have shield charge with 45 faster attacks and increased critical strike. Why increase crit? To help proccing the elemental overload. You know, when you crit in the past 8 seconds, you get 40% more elemental damage, which both benefit Righteous Fire and Scorching Ray. So that's pretty solid choice here. For our belt, it's an Elder base. I specifically looked for 3 mods. The highest priority is the increased life recovery rate. So that means that our life regen will actually get over the roof. Because if we just unequip this belt... Holy shit, it's only 100 life per second? I thought it was more, actually. We have here a second one. So if we disable those two, we have like 1.5k. And if we actually enable those two, I will go through the Watcher's Eye a little bit later, you have like 1.7. It's like, yeah, it's a more multiplier of your life regen. So the higher your life is, probably that's why I'm not really that satisfied with this roll. I thought it was more. But in the end, you have like an amount of life regen. With all your life regen in total, right, you have a certain amount of life that you wreck, like 2,000 life per second. And this belt gives you another 20% on top of that 2,000, right? So that's pretty insane, to be honest. And on our Watcher's Eye, we have another 30%, so I get like 50% more life regen. And this is like kind of insane. So, first, life recovery rate, maximum life, increased maximum life. Those are the stats that I was specifically looking on that belt. It's not that super easy to get. I was delve spamming the pristine fossils, that so you have life modifiers, but I still took like I think like 50 or 60 delve crafts to hit one of those. But yeah, it's still like super good. I mean, there is 2 mods on the life recovery rate. One is the 10 to 15. The second one is 16 to 20. Yeah, 16 to 20. And yeah, this will boost your survivability by another layer. For the boots, they are super trash. I just chaos spammed them yesterday with the last 20 chaos I had over, I think. Just like triple life, 20 movement speed, triple resistance, 20 movement speed, and crafted life. So, bullshit. These are super bad. But still, they have the regen enchant, and that's why I kept them. I think I was playing with some different ones before that. I think I have them for 50 chaos or something. Maybe 100 an X. Where are they? Here they are. They're just life, resistance, movement speed. As easy as that. But as I said, like all my pieces here, like crafted life, here we have crafted life. So if you would actually delve mod them or something, or hit the life roll with a craft, you will get more life, right? Okay, for the gems, we have Stormbrand with increased critical strike and Culling Strike, and Enduring Cry as a standalone. So, Stormbrand, increased critical strikes to proc our Elemental Overload, and also Culling Strike, because that's, yeah, self-explaining, I think, when the mob just needs 90% of his life taken down until he's dead. And Enduring Cry, just because the fact that now we have 0 endurance charges. So usually when I start a map or something, I charge in, press this one time, so I have my 1 to 9 charges, and then keep on going. It's just one time I do that. Or on Uber Elder, for example, I just spam them in between because you not get hit that often, right? Yeah, good. Anything else to say here? I don't think so. We explained, I think, everything. Shield, Purity of Fire, Vitality, and Empower support. As I said before, if you want to make it cheaper, get 21 Purity of Fire, I think like 1.5 Exalts, and then Empower 3 for, I think, 10 Chaos. But I thought like Empower 4 should be fine, because once you hit Vitality, gives you more life regen the higher the level, right? So if this one is 21 plus 3 levels from the Empower gem is even more life regen. But I would just simply take this level 3 and this 21, so you save like 2 or 3x. Pretty cheap. Okay, anything else? Nope. Flasks. Witchfire Brew. Witchfire Brew is yeah. And how to say, it just gives damage over time once it's used, and also curses the enemies with the Despair Curse, so I think they get more chaos damage, but that's not the reason that we take it. It's just because the 40% increased damage over time during Flask effect. So yeah, Forbidden Taste as our, oh my god, I got hit, I need to get my life back. Then we have the Rumi's Concoction to add another layer of defense. We have the Sulfur Flask for bleed immunity, and also the Consecrated Ground to have more regen. And also Quicksilver Flask with speed. More speed. You can also skip the increased movement speed and get this craft. I think it was like regen. 2% live regen per second during Flask effect. So that's another more, you know, more live regen. So it's insanely tanky, as I said, and you can even get more of that. So let's talk about the skill tree real quick. I have here a Might of the Meek. Just because I hit all the layers here with all life armor, live regen, all those points here, whatever. I took those 2 points for the 7% increased max life. But in the end, it's a pretty generic tree, right? It's Righteous Fire is out since I think like 0.8 Path of Exile or something like that. So forever, right? So these are pretty usual trees that you have on them. It's just a small change that I made. With like picking up endurance charges, life. Here I needed the all resistance, because I couldn't really get all resistance on my gear that much. So that's actually bad here. You want to replace those for more life. But I wanted to make sure that I'm capped on resistance in town. I know that some people will say, wait a second, you have 9 endurance charges, so you get like 36% all res anyways. Yeah, that's true, but what if there's elemental weakness, you drop that amount, like 40 all res or something. So even with elemental weakness, I will be capped on the resistance, so I can run those mods as well. So no problem on that side. So yeah, endurance charge, max fire resistance, important damage, increased life rec. So here is 2 changes that are actually new. Okay, let's talk about quick here. Elemental Equilibrium, Elemental Overload, fire damage. Yeah, some dex points because we're dex starving. But yeah, let's talk about those two changes that are important for this build. As I was saying, usually you want to have a crafted scepter that has level 1 blood magic, so your Scorching Ray actually takes life as a resource base. But we don't have this enchant here. So what I did was taking the Tireless, so we have reduced mana cost of skills. And I also took those 3 nodes here, mana and life regen, from the Templar area. So if I would actually... let me quickly do that. 1, 2, 3. If we actually refund those 3 points here, you will see in terms of mana that my Scorching Ray will slowly remove my mana until we are actually not able to cast this anymore. Yes, it takes a little bit of time, but especially since you're face tanking almost all the time, you're just constantly spamming this, right? And this is what happens once you don't have the mana regen nodes. You just cannot sustain the Scorching Ray. So that's why I made the decision to actually replace some points and take them over here. And now all of a sudden we have more regen to permanently keep up Scorching Ray. I think it's actually... I'm still actually degenning. But it's like 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 70, 60, 60. I probably can spam this like a minute now, I guess. Or at least like 20 seconds. No more. But yeah, this is one factor that I had. And you're gonna imagine the more mana you have as well, the higher your regen is, right? But this is like a small change that I had to do because without those nodes, without Tireless and without those nodes, if we replace those real quick, let's spend another couple of refund points. I just want to show you the difference here, right? So if you remove this one here and those, you see that we're actually, yeah, cannot even keep that up, like not even 10 seconds probably. So that's actually pretty bad. And yeah, this is about the skill tree. Let's talk about the gems real quick. Because we have actually 2 different gems that we use. 3 with the Might of the Meek. Watcher's Eye Jewel. You want to have the increased life recovery rate while affected by Vitality. So that means that we have way more life regen, especially, yeah, while affected by Vitality, obviously. The second one, I think the first mod goes for like 2 exalts, I think, if I'm correct. Just the life recovery rate, 20 to 30 is the roll. So we are at 2.3 exalts. If you want to get one step better, you're gonna take the second mod as well, which is physical damage taken from hits as fire damage while affected by Purity of Fire. This is actually pretty sick because we have 85% fire resistance. So if we get a huge melee hit, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much because we have a shitload of armor. It will still get converted, 10% of that physical damage will get converted to fire damage and again gets reduced by another 85%. So it's basically as like 10% less damage taking, more or less. Okay, for the other jewels, they are all the same. And these are these kind of jewels. Burning damage, fire damage, life. They go for about 2 exalts each. But I would definitely skip the fire damage in this part. If you just go for life and burning damage, they shouldn't be too expensive. So everybody can afford that one. And it's just a little bit less DPS. 3 chaos, 4 chaos, that's about it. And if you want to get the other mod as well, then it's probably 2x. But it's just 16% increased fire damage. So yes, it is good. Yes, it will give you more damage. But in the end, it's not like too fancy. Important is the life. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times those jewels actually. Was it 6 times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. I don't know. I'm too bad at math. So passives. I don't want to make these guides always so long, but there's so much to explain. I don't know. I'm sorry. So we have 2 passive points coming from helping Aramir, I think. So kill all bandits for the 2 points. Pantheons, I have the Soul of Solaris for another layer of defense because we have physical damage mitigation. Then I switch between Tuku Hammer and maybe for Uberella you can take Yugul, but as you saw it's not even necessary. So Tuku Hammer will give you more life regen when standing still. So as channeling this one, we're still standing still all the time, so we get even more regen, so that's fine. In terms of MTX, Holy shit. Celestial Hood with the red glowing eyes. We have the Dragon Hunter wings, the Ultimate Chaos body armor, the Seraph sword with the Ultimate Chaos shield, the Forged weapon effect, Kitaver gloves and boots, the Ultimate Chaos footprints, Celestial character effect, and the Demon King portal effect. For our skill MTX, we have the Shaper's beam. I love it. It's just the same sound actually as the one if you do Shaper, right? For Scorching Ray, then we have the Betrayal Aura effect attached to, I think, Purity of Fire, maybe. Carnage Aura effect, the Celestial Righteous Fire effect, that's the Shaper one, and the Demonic Shield Slam to, yeah, make it red to look beautiful on our MTX. So, is there anything else to explain? I don't think so. It's actually a pretty self-explaining build. Super lazy playstyle, very effective, insanely tanky, shitload of life regen. You can just, like, don't really care about anything, right? Because, especially, that what I forget, Ascendancies. We have Unstoppable, so we can skip the Chaos Roots and don't get slowed on the Uberell encounter, Unflinching, Unrelenting, and Unbreakable. So, this is what I wanted to explain before. Unrelenting. We have additional physical damage reduction per endurance charge. We have 9. We have reduced elemental damage taken while at maximum endurance charges. We have them all the time, right? As soon as we enter the map and do our first Enduring Cry or get hit for the first time, we actually get the full portion of endurance charges. And also Chaos Resistance, so that's pretty nice as well. It's just super beefy, it still works like a charm. This league super expensive, to be honest, because I know that on the other leagues that I wanted to play it, it was like hilariously expensive. Nowadays, since actually nobody's playing it anymore, I don't even know why. It's actually cheap and affordable to play something like that. And yeah, I think we are fine with terms of explaining. And yeah, if you need anything more, Path of Building, a link is in the description below with exactly this tree, these items, and whatever. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and I guess see you on the next video.